Welcome. So thanks for meeting up and taking this interview. And you and I know each other for a long time. So back in the day when you were working in the world of testing at Vodafone, how many years ago was that?
Bruce, I
15?
believe, yeah, we worked together from 2000 to 2006,
Wow. So
15 years
15 or
ago.
20 years ago. Amazing. So yeah, we're doing a series of interviews with people who have been working with SAFe and around scaled agile and just agile in general. And we're trying to put together a series of interviews just to inform people, and also give you some exposure and to just get some ideas different from different points of view. So I have about 12 questions for you, but might take a half hour, might take an hour, might take 5 minutes. Let's see how it goes. Right. So do you want to introduce yourself first and your company and just a quick overview?
Yes, thank you, Bruce. My name is Konstantin Popov. I am a managing director for Vincerion, um, um, a full-scale digital transformation company. Um, I have been doing all things project management for about 20 years in one form or another. Come from a traditional PM background, but pivoted to business agility and agile frameworks roughly around 6, 7 years ago. Have done agile before that, but moved on to scaled agile about 6 years ago. Um, Vincerion is actually an interesting name. It comes from two words. It's Vinco and Septentrionis. In Latin, it's Vinco is to conquer, and Septentrionis is a North Star. And we want to help individuals and companies conquer their North Stars wherever they are.
Love that. That's cool. Well, my Spanish company's name is Go and Conquer. So we have something in common. So for those people that might be watching this that are less knowledgeable about SAFe, maybe you could just, in a few sentences, because a lot of people know what Agile is, they don't necessarily know what SAFe is. How would you describe SAFe in a few sentences?
Of course. Um, I believe that a lot of the pure agilists will argue that Scrum, Kanban, are the foundational frameworks, and you can apply them to any different environment. And I do agree with the statement to some extent. Having said that, if we take a Fortune 5 company, can we really manage their business 2 weeks at a time, one Scrum team at a time? What do we need? What kind of processes do we put around scaling? And you can either create your own, and a lot of companies do various flavors of scaling. There are a number of approaches. I believe the Scaled Agile Framework has done a very good job of creating a framework for scaling. They're able to fill all of the void and help us integrate various organizational silos into the cohesive digital platforms, product lines, value stream, whatever the organizational structure that you're following. So in a way, it started as as a way to scale and a way to organize teams of teams, which was very successful. And now there are methods and processes related to product management, lean portfolio management, and they're actually doing a very good job of enabling the flow of value for teams of teams through appropriate prioritization techniques in portfolio management and product management. Long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, it was good. I thought it would be much more challenging to describe it in a few sentences. That's great. What was your first exposure to SAFe?
While I was working in Chevron, I put together a concept of PMO as a service. Instead of placing full-time project managers and project controllers onto projects, which sometimes proved ineffective and very expensive, we decided to try out a model based on Microsoft Project Server and UMT 360 that we're going to place, so we're going to offer service. Right here is a list of services around project management and project controls. And it was fairly successful. A lot of people were interested in that topic. I spoke at the Microsoft Project Conference in 2014 with some of my colleagues, and I was invited to talk to a lot of people. And for a couple of years, it was a fantastic dialogue. And I was chatting with the C-level executives of one of the insurance companies, and the new CIO asked me, Konstantin, this is great, but what is your experience with Scale and Agile? What is your experience with SAFe? I was like, SAFe? I was like, I don't know. We do Agile, of course, but SAFe. And then a couple of days later, I was in one of the meetups, and one of the executives from Blue Shield Blue Cross asked me the same question. Hey, this is great, but what about SAFe? I was like, okay, SAFe. I got home, I Googled SAFe. It was a company out of Boulder, Colorado. I was like, that's great. So I called them up, chatted with them, told them I was at the time working in Chevron. I am interested in learning more. I went to Boulder, Colorado for a week, and I took the SPC class. I've met Dean Leffnerwell, Inbar Oren, and Inbar was my first instructor for the SPC class. And I came back to Chevron and I started to talk to executives, to general managers around, this is great, but what are we going to do around business agility? And, what is it going to look like? How are we going to scale these individuals' pockets of excellence? And I basically created enough chatter in the system where one of our key initiatives was cloud adoption, which was going through, I guess it was for the first couple of years, it was a traditional program, which had a number of projects in it. We created a lot of artifacts. We've learned a lot. And one of the things we learned that we could not we couldn't waterfall our way into the cloud. So we created a Scrum team that started to figure out how to put a basic application into the cloud via fully automated pipeline. I was an original Scrum Master for this team. I quit my daily job as the PMO leader, became a Scrum Master for it. The team grew in size. In 2 months, we had 3 teams. We deployed Essential SAFe, some of the elements of Essential SAFe. We ran our first SAFe for Team class, and then we doubled in size. Over the course of 4 years, about 1,200 people went through the Cloud Readiness and Digital Enablement program. And at any one point, we had about close to 800 people, over 80 Scrum teams all around the world.
Wow, did you say 80 Scrum teams?
Yes.
That's amazing. And, having watched it now grow over 4 years, and now that it's, I assume, more or less bedded in there and really part of the culture, how would you say their implementation of scaled agile is different from a purist view of scaled agile?
There are lots of anti-patterns to agile transformation, and I think a lot of them associated with vanity metrics. And those are, we train 10,000 people in Agile. We train all of our business people in design thinking and product management. It is great, but there needs to be a so what. The so what for Chevron was that our cloud adoption was successful. So what for Chevron was that we pivoted from a traditional PPM approach to a fully, SAFe became an organizational standard. We deployed tooling around it. And if you ask for so what, our cloud adoption was successful, and that success led to Chevron transforming from a traditional organizational silo organization to a collection of fully integrated digital platforms where business folks and various support organizations, IT, engineering are working together to create value.
I love that, looking for the so what. So important.